Today, we're going to talk about my number one rule if you're going to be outsourcing something for your business.
Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. I am recording today on Sunday, coming to you as like a real true human where it's pretty gloomy outside. And to be blatantly honest, I'm very affected by gloomy weather and I'm just in general not feeling it today. I don't know. I think we all, if you're someone who is still menstruating, which I think I'm like, we should not go down that road in this podcast. But if that is something that you still do, I am very much so, 2 days prior, and I am just not having it. So I'm very much so just got some tude today. I'm laughing because I think of Heather McMahon whenever I have a little bit of spice, because Heather oftentimes is just full of spice on our podcast. It makes me laugh. But anyway, coming to you as a human. And I think personally, I am traveling this week. I genuinely, I'm not going to say I don't like traveling because I like traveling. That's not what it is. But the preparation and the mental gymnastics that I have to do before I travel is like genuinely a lot. And I'm not a fragile human. I just like my routine, and I'm very much so neurodivergent. So knowing that I'm not going to be in routine is really tough for me. Before I realized that like, this is just how I am. I used to be like, oh man, why can't I just like decrease my anxiety? Or why can't I just, I'm traveling, yay, be excited. It's not that. It's not that I'm not excited. It's just being out of routine for me is very tough. So dealing with a little bit of that. And also I am like, so the long and the short is this weekend I went to Dick's because I was like, I need a bottle, like a water bottle that travels well, because the water bottles that I have like a thick bottom or they have a straw, and like I can't bring a straw because it has to tip over on a plane and whatever, but I also need it to be for hot and cold drinks. So I don't know if you're aware, but there are a very limited amount of options for skinny bottles that can handle hot and cold. Anyway, ended up in REI after Dick's because Dick's didn't have, they had a white one, a travel cup that we have the smaller version already. And I was like, okay, this is fine. I could do the white one, but I already have a ton of white cups. And I went to REI because Shantae was like, why don't you try REI and see if they have one? So I went there and they had I don't know what color technically. It's like a neon blue-esque. It's like a royal blue, but like bright. There's a Jeep that's color. That is that color. And I love that color. So I ended up getting that color. But I got that water bottle, and I'm not entirely sure why I started telling this story. Again, I'm thinking out and so prepping to travel, getting ready, getting all the stuff ready to go to travel. And then for what it's worth, I am not someone who like keeps up with fashion. I just don't care. It's way too exhausting. I used to follow travel. I used to follow fashion, like influencers, if you will, and they get these clothing hauls, and I'm like, do you think I have the money to buy this $900 sweater and then what? Like, I guess you can wear it a bunch of times, but I'm like, still, now I need 5 of these. Like, this is crazy. But also they get these outfit hauls of clothes that are in style. And if you actually like stay with in style stuff, you're buying new clothes like all the time. I don't care. And blatantly honest with you, I tried the bootcut jean thing, and it's not that I don't like them. I just don't feel good in my body when I wear them. I'm like, I just don't like the way that my body feels and looks in these jeans. And I don't really need to go into like body image stuff by any means, because it's not what it is. I'm just like, I feel like I bought these because they're quote unquote in style. And now I'm like, I genuinely never want another pair of these again. So Anyway, I was at Dick's, and I want a new travel. I want something to be able to travel in. But the thing is I like to travel in black, and I like to travel with comfy clothes. You'll never catch me dressing up at an airport. So I was like, I would love to have some wide leg pants, because right now I only have like joggers or leggings. Leggings are actually quite cold on a plane. I've been cold way too many times. So I like the option of having like leggings underneath sweatpants, or just like breathable sweatpants. So I tried on some pants, and it actually went decently well. I found a couple pairs that I liked, ended up ordering a set online. But anyway, all of this travel stuff, I'm like, it just brings up, I'm prepping for 3 different trips because, obviously I'm going to use this airport outfit every single time I go, because why would I not? So anyway, I'm coming to you as a human today after basically prepping for travel, and then also just working. Work has been really busy, and I'm so, so grateful. And also I need to follow my own protocol and actually brick my phone on Thursday night or Friday morning, like I say I'm going to, because I just need to turn off. And I am going to try to do my best to do that next weekend and like truly turn it off. I tried to work a lot less this weekend, but I still caught myself like, I'm going to go check this thing. I'm going to go do this thing really quick. And I just need to not. But that's a personal thing, but just saying it as a human, because I love to work and I could work all the time. But then like on the flip side, I'm like, Alexis, you need to give yourself some break time. So that's where I'm at personally. Also cooked a really awesome whole chicken. Grateful for Steph from Hind Farm. She brought that when she visited us, and Shantae bought me that, the stove pot. And so I cooked that chicken last night on Saturday, and it was freaking delicious. So yeah, business wise, I don't have any updates other than the fact that if you're looking to book a call with me and you're not a current client, my call availability, if you're not in Lextramind or a retainer client or someone who's actively working with me, my availability is very, very small. My business over the years has transitioned from being super, super open for coaching calls and what have you, to not being open for coaching calls or many coaching calls. So just so you're aware, if you're trying to book time with me, I recognize that might kind of suck. And I recognize that, you don't always have the time to wait. And if you've been a past client, you already know how to contact me and reach out and get help for things that we've already worked on together. It's just, starting with an email, and then I'll tell you what to book or give you a private link. But if you're a new client and you're someone who has not worked with me yet, just know that I am just less able to take on new clients. So if you're trying to schedule, just be aware when you go to look, you might see less availability there. Okay, I'm just checking my list. Oh, goodness gracious. If you're listening to this and you have been interested in the Google Ads course, I filmed probably 35 to 40% of it this past weekend. And the way that I'm going to be doing this course is so much different than SEO School. And I have such a hard time not explaining things, meaning I want to give you all the detail, but I'm also I don't want this course to be a $2,000 course. So I'm trying to figure out what I actually want this course to be. And in my brain, I'm I just want this to be a doable course, because I had mentioned do it in a weekend. So I'm recording it, and I will tell you it's very tough for me to not explain. So I'm finding that it's actually taking me longer to record. So anyway, I have a plan in my head to get the protocol out on a document, and then the videos will obviously go alongside of it. And I'm excited for it. And also there's a big sticking point for me for this course, because I need people to be techie. And I feel that's a really big ask, and I need people to be honest with themselves. And that's going to be going on the sales page. Because if you're not someone who can follow directions and poke around in a tech software, which I'm decently good at teaching tech, and anyone who's taken SEO School will say yes, absolutely. Because in SEO School, I think I actually had 0 questions on how to set up the tech side of things based on the video. So I'm good at teaching that part, but it's one of those things where I'm the whole point of this course is that I'm not doing it for you, and it's not going to come with like one-on-one time. Going to do Q&A calls, or a Q&A call. I think it might be one call after, like at the end. I think it'll be one call just to like answer questions. But because I'm not doing the tech side of things, and the whole point is that it's quote unquote DIY, but it's really like follow the directions, right? It's really tough to demand that someone is tech savvy, but I think it's going to be okay. I think people are really, I think if you're tech savvy, you know that you are tech savvy. And if you really struggle with tech, I think you can say like, yes, I really struggle. But I will also say that with directions, if you can say that you can follow a protocol and click the buttons that I click, then I think you'll be a-okay. So that has been like a sticking point for me in filming this course at all. But I just keep seeing some horrific shit as far as like what's being set up and what people are running ads for and how much money they're spending. And I just like, there's a part of me that I'm like, I could just run a workshop on this and not show you how to set up the ad. But I'm just like, it doesn't make sense to me. And in my brain, when I provide a solution, I need it to be a solution, not a solution that creates a new problem. That doesn't feel good for me. So anyway, that's the update on the course. I need to film more. I need to film a couple videos for tutorials, and I need to film some talking head stuff, but it's on its way. It's on its way, but also simultaneously just moving a little bit slower than anticipated because one, I did push it because of SEO School launch and all that other stuff. And like, I was just busy. It went on the back burner, full, yes, 110%. But two, because teaching to not explain things in full, because that's always the point in my brain, is a little bit tougher than I assumed it would be. All right. Now I think, let's get right into the episode. Actually, one more thing. Last Monday, I made SEO School evergreen. So if you missed SEO School launch and you still want to join SEO School, you can join SEO School. It's not the live call version. It's an evergreen version. So you can see all the details on the sales page. It's there. You can enroll in it at any point in time. It will not be live again until at least fall 2027. And I may not run it live again. So I do not know if I'm going to run it live again. So if you are interested in SEO School, you can enroll at any point in time over the course of the next year and a half. It's there on my website. You will have all of the course information and emails dripped weekly, just like the current cohort has. It's just you're not going to be on the live calls. You do get access to the community for 6 months. So that'll be a part of it as well. But that is the generic breakdown, if you will, of like what's going on with SEO School and how you could get started now if you really wanted to, or whenever you're ready. The course isn't going anywhere. It's just currently live on my site and ready to be enrolled in if you want. Okay, so now let's talk about proprietary platforms. So this is like a really touchy topic for me, just because I do think it feeds into the existence of a lot of really shitty systems in our country and just capitalism in general. I think that it is really tough for me to accept that they exist. I think it's really tough to think that folks are essentially opting into them and may not even know that they're opting into them until it's too late. And it's really tough to believe that anybody could allow someone to opt into it. I just think on all sides, like my integrity feels really like it feels very tested. And I definitely have a bodily feeling when I'm like, oof, that feels really bad. Like I hate that is a thing. So proprietary platforms are essentially a platform that has been utilized by a company to make their own platform from the platform. Okay. So let's pretend like I build websites on Squarespace, but this isn't possible, by the way, but let's pretend that I took Squarespace's platform and I rebranded it to be Lex Lancaster's website platform, or whatever the fuck the company would be. And I'm building websites on Squarespace, but I'm calling it my own platform. So I'm calling it the Lex Lancaster Hub. Now I say, hey, I want you to build a website with me. We're going to put it on my hub, and my hub is going to own your website. And then you'll just pay a fee for me to maintain the website on my hub. And then, you'll have a website and it's all done for you. And like, oh, by the way, that hub also has email marketing, and like, we'll build out emails for you. We'll get all that set up for you. I have the emails. I'll write the emails for you. It's all done for you. It's in a package. And then all you need to do is just pay like a retainer fee or, the onboarding fee, and then the retainer fee from that. And then, everything will be taken care of for you. You don't have to think about it. Okay. So that would be the setup. Now, the problem with that is that at that moment, you're now wrapped into my system. So I want to be very clear. This is one, not something I do. And two, it's not something that's possible with the stuff that I do. So anyway, this is just for demonstration purposes. So you're now locked in with a website and email marketing on my platform that is a subset or a sub-platform of a different platform. Okay, so Squarespace is still the owner, but then I'm underneath it. Again, this is not possible. This is not something that you can do with Squarespace. Squarespace is Squarespace. Okay, so I'm just giving this for demo purposes so you can understand the tree and what I'm talking about. So what that means is when I put you on my platform, I own all of the things that are created for you. All right, so whether it's an email, or emails, automations, welcome sequence, a website, I don't know, let's throw your courses on there too. It's all on my platform. Okay. That means that if you ever want to leave me because I piss you off or you can't afford me anymore, you're going to lose everything that you have. Or maybe I give you an opportunity to buy it back from me. Like that might be something that I offer you. God, this makes my body feel bad saying it out loud. Or you just lose it. You stop paying me and you lose what you have. So you lose the website, you lose the emails, you lose the stuff. Okay. So that's like how it would play out. Now, the biggest thing that I think should be recognized up front is that this means that you're giving up ownership of a lot of business assets and trusting that a company is going to give them to you at the end. I don't think that that's a bad thing to assume. I don't think this is ever anyone's fault. I think that it's something that's not necessarily said up front, and it's usually in a contract. So when it comes to creative rights or intellectual property rights, you have to make sure that everything that you have that's a business asset of yours is owned by you. So at any point in time, whoever is working for you, if you want to outsource to someone, you can walk away at any point in time. Now, someone might be thinking, well, I can't walk away from my EMR. That'd be a pain in the ass. That is different. So an EMR has all of your patient data for however many years. If you decide one day that you want to change EMRs because you don't like it anymore or it got too expensive, whatever, you can export your patients. You can export your data. It doesn't mean it's not going to be a pain in the ass to move, because yes, it likely will be. It won't be, easy peasy lemon squeezy, but I will tell you that you can do it. You can take all your data from one platform, export it without still having to pay someone, and then you can move that data to a different platform and stop paying for the old one because you still own all of that patient data. You can export it. Okay. The difference that in a proprietary platform situation is that part isn't possible. You have to rebuild whatever was built for you on that proprietary platform potentially you invest in the parent platform that they're using to build everything out. You have to rebuild what was built for you on that other platform. That to me feels really rough because you paid money to have this thing built out for the first time. And now if you ever need to leave, you have to pay again or figure it out yourself to build it out the second time. And not to mention some of the things that are built out for you may be really integral in your patient practice, meaning emails or a website, like all of these things may be super integral in your practice. So it's really tough to have to now, you can't leave. You can't just up and leave or stop paying because then you lose everything you have. Or you have to pay a fee to own it again, like to actually own the material. all of this to me, so I mentioned I said in the beginning of this episode, I said, here's what I want you to know about outsourcing. What I want you to know about outsourcing is that you should own everything you have. So whenever something is created for you, you should own it. So example is if you have a website, even if you don't have the know-how or don't want to manage it, I don't care. You still should be the owner of it because then you can revoke access to anyone at any point in time. You should be the owner of it, period. I always have this little rule in my head. If your credit card is paying, you need to be owning it. Okay. So, and that's again, like, I don't want that to be confused with, I'm not saying you need to own your JNapp platform or your Squarespace website. What I'm saying is that you need to own the space that you have in that platform. So your clinic inside of JNapp, you are able to export that data if you ever wanted to. Or Squarespace, you're able to own your website on the Squarespace platform. That is what I mean. Okay. You're not owning Squarespace, obviously. You're owning your website on the platform. So when you're outsourcing, I always want you to think, am I going to own this at the end of the day or am I not? Another example would be if I built an ebook for a client, which I've done all the time. If I built an ebook for a client and that client was a retainer client of mine, so they're paying me monthly to be a retainer client. Let's just say they say, hey, Lex, I don't want to be a retainer client anymore. I'm all set. Thank you so much for your help. At that point in time, all of the assets that I have created for them, from the ebook itself to the email automations, to the emails that go out, to the website stuff, the website opt-ins that I've put all on the site and whatnot, everything belongs to the client. It doesn't belong to me. So they don't need to rebuy it from me, right? So everything belongs to them. And that's how I want you to think about every asset that's in your business. You should be able to pull away from someone who's working for you at any point in time. And this to me is just like an independent contractor who's working for your business, because I get it. You might be able to think about independent contractors as humans, but also think about independent contractors as the software is the contractor. So an example would be if you hire someone to build something on something, that person, one, they should not own the thing that they create for you, the thing that you're paying them to create for your business. You should own the account and then give them access to create the thing for you, right? So you should be the owner there. You should give them access to your website. They make edits on the website. You still own it, because then tomorrow you can say, hey, I actually don't think I want to work with you anymore. Sayonara. And then you still maintain your website, right? So you still own your website. You take off access to that person. You should be able to walk away with no strings attached at any point in time. Any point in time, because even if you export patient data from an EMR, or even if you have a website that's, built somewhere else, you can still export your data. Someone else doesn't own that. The website's a little tough because you have to rebuild it on another platform, but another company doesn't own that data. It's all yours. And walking away, what that looks like with no strings attached is you're able to stop paying whatever it is. You're able to stop paying that and still maintain your assets. Again, not to be confused with something like a website plan. I'm not saying you don't have to pay for your website. What I'm saying is that if I build a website for you and you're paying me, which I don't do this again, if you're paying me a management fee, one, you should be able to walk away from that whenever and still own your website, right? Not me. I shouldn't own your website. And two, when you walk away, I shouldn't be charging you money to walk away from me, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Now you might be thinking what is this? I think there's going to be people who are of course, duh. What are you talking about? Like I said before, the downside is that this is not always something that is talked about. It's not something that's always disclosed. And it's also not something that, in my opinion, isn't packaged well, right? So oftentimes it's packaged as everything is done for you. It's super simple. Everything's in one place. It's built specifically for you. We'll handle everything. And it's super appealing when you're a busy PT, you're a busy maybe parent, you have a busy life in general, and you just want this problem solved for you. So of course, like it makes sense in like the short term to say like, this is going to be taken care of for me. I love it. That's great. I'm so glad you want to invest in something that's going to free up time on your plate to do things you love. But at the end of the day, my request would be, I would love for you to make sure you own that platform. Because what I would hate to see happen is that if you have to walk away from a company, maybe you want to decrease your patient care load, or, God forbid something happens and you need to step away from the clinic for a bit, but you can't afford to pay for this company during that time. I don't want you to lose your website, lose your email automations, lose any sort of like coursework that you've created, because you've been paying someone to manage it and you don't actually own the content. That to me feels like you're paying someone, but not actually you're renting it. You're renting that stuff that they're creating for you. And the only way to keep it is to keep paying for it, which again, like it doesn't set you up for independence. It doesn't set you up to be able to walk away. And even if you don't want to manage it, it doesn't set you up to be able to hire someone else should you want to step away from someone you're working with. And it just feels, it doesn't, I don't truly believe that a proprietary platform is ever better for the consumer. It's more or less better for the retention of it on the agency side or the independent contractor side, because by being and investing in the product, you're investing in lock-in. And the other thing too is like, you might be thinking, well, like, of course I'm always going to pay for this thing. Like, why would I never not pay for it? I don't think that's a bad way to think, but I'm also going to say, I would love for you to also compare, think about the worst thing that could happen. And at the end of the day, the worst thing that could happen is you have to decrease your patient care hours and you don't have the money to pay for it. And now what do you do? Because now it's going to cost you money to rebuild that thing somewhere else. So that's more money. You're going to lose what you already have. That's, a loss of assets, in my opinion. So a loss of money. And then now you're probably decreasing patient hours because you need to make hours for something else. So now you have to find different hours to redo all this stuff. And then also you have to find someone to help you. Because if you outsource it the first time, you likely don't know how to do it on your own this time. So the message here is that I would love for you to just take a second and make sure, like, pump the brakes before you hire out for something, and just make sure that at the end of the day, you're going to own all of the assets that are created for you. And a company is not going to be maintaining ownership of your assets, especially if you want to sever the relationship for whatever reason that may be. The ability to walk away with no strings attached is the baseline for me. I want to make sure that you own it, your credit card's paying for it, and at any given time, you're able to take over ownership, give ownership to, or give admin access to someone else if you want to invite someone on. Think about it like an independent contractor relationship where this is a business asset you own and you're delegating access to it for someone to help you on it. Right? We're not giving away ownership of it so that someone can help us, which are two very different things. Okay. I would love to know if you have questions about it. I feel like, again, there's going to be people who are saying like, of course I would never do that. But this is stuff that from personal experience, I've seen people find this out when they try to sever the relationship or they're told that they can't do that. And it's something that I think is a simple question and also is typically inside of a contract somewhere. And if something is not in a contract and you want it to be added to the contract, you can just ask. And, anybody who is, ready and super accepting of you owning whatever you pay for to be created for your business, they're going to say, yeah, of course, we'll add that. Like, makes total sense. Like, yes, of course you should own your stuff. I want you to set yourself up for whatever situation may come down the line. And at any given moment, it's really nice to be able to step away from something and not have to continue paying just because you're locked in or like assets aren't owned by you. So again, assets, we always want to make sure we own our own assets. And when we're building things out, that we have the content and it's something that we own and that we don't need to start from scratch if we have to step away. And if you do choose to invest in something where you're giving away the ownership and letting someone handle it all for you on a platform that is proprietary and they build it out, just understand the risks of that. Like, that's it. Like, you can do it. It's very successful for some folks. Just recognize the risks of that and what that means. And then you can make that decision accordingly because everyone's an adult. And, I will also say that it may suit some people to do that. Personally, I do not feel like I would ever want to give away the ownership of my business assets. But again, everyone has their own method. Everyone has their own level of comfort with that. And also everyone has different goals. So do what feels good for you and, take what leaves you, as Shantae would say, and take what serves you and leave the rest. Okay, friends, I'm going to go have my human afternoon and probably couch rot. And I will just be waiting to see if any questions pop up or any concerns from listening to this. And as always, thank you so much for spending all this time with me. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much. Have a great week. I will catch you next time.